After the battle for Hue, we had a little bit of a rehab period, just a couple of days to get replacements, able to have a hot shower, a hot meal, and then we went back on the Highway 1 as road and bridge guard security, and also doing, primarily we're doing a lot of night ambush patrols to keep them from infiltrating back into the area, because the NVA was still heavily involved in trying to get in and out of the area. So we were quite successful almost on a nightly basis. We would have contact, and we didn't suffer many casualties. And the good news there is we collected a lot of weapons. And because we were right on the road, people had great interest in coming by to see what the latest booty was. And we were able to trade weapons for beer, fresh food, all sorts of things from the Seabees particularly. So it was very lucrative to be in that kind of business for a little while. We stayed in the Hue-Fubai area, operating again up and down Highway 1 from the fire base at Fubai down to the Troy River, which was maybe 15 or so kilometers from Fubai. The VC, yes, that is correct. The VC were pretty much rendered ineffective at this point. The NVA still had remnants of their units in and around the Hue-Fubai area and the Da Nang area, and we were going out looking for them. The rest of my time there with the battalion, we only had what I'll call minimal combat engagements. I did not have anything major like we had in Hue. We never got involved. Well, I did have one major firefight. I can't remember the date now, Martin, but it was probably in the early May time frame, and we were doing bridge security, and I had one of my lieutenants had been severely wounded in Hue. And he had been shot through the throat, and one of the corpsmen had done a field tracheotomy on him and saved his life. And he came back to the battalion when he recovered, and I said, "You're going to be the XO. You're not going to come back out to the field ever. You're going to go home safely." And he kept bugging me. He said, "Just let me come down, spend one night down there, and I'll come down with the mail run and go back the next day with the mine-sweeping group when they were clearing the road." So finally, after he harangued me for a significant period of time, I said, "All right, Dean, you come on down and you can spend the night and bring me a beer, and we'll send you back the next morning." Well, as you can imagine, that night, probably about 4 o'clock in the morning, one of the companies adjacent to us sprang an ambush, and they forced an NVA company basically into my position. So all of a sudden we woke up with gunfire going off all over us, and we had no idea what was going on. And at that point I began to monitor the net to find out what was happening, and then quickly realized what had occurred. And he and I walked up on the bridge. We were in a little bunker near the bridge, and we walked up on the bridge to find out what was going on. And we were looking around, of course, shots going all around. The next thing I know, he's down on the ground again, and he's hit again. So fortunately, it was just he got hit in the arm. But that just shows you how lucky I was, because I'm standing right next to him, and he's hit, and I'm not. But we sent him home, and he survived the war. But that was a nice engagement. I ended up having the opportunity to maneuver about 3 other companies because of the tactical situation. The battalion commander could not get up to monitor the battlefield and manage it. So for several hours, I had the opportunity to maneuver 3 companies, as well as calling in a lot of artillery. And I got a lot of air diverted that was going up north, come down to provide air support for me. And that was kind of a neat thing to see, because these F-4s, for the most part, were coming down over us, and they were releasing their bombs probably a couple hundred yards behind us, and you'd see them open up, and they had those kind of, I'm not sure what you call them, but the fins to guide them down, and you just see them come right over your head. So that was kind of neat, but a little scary, but it worked. And we got rid of the NVA, and that was a successful engagement. So that was probably the largest engagement that I had after Hue.